How's it going, everyone? I've got a little review of the Lsat in Black Ops 2 for you today. The Lsat is one of two heavyweight light machine guns in Black Ops 2, the other one being that Mark 48 that I've covered fairly recently, and I've already done a couple of classes with that weapon. For the Lsat though, is a weapon that I've not really played around with much until I took a deeper look at it for this guide. It turns out to be quite a good weapon, although I'm not too sure if it knocks the Mark 48 off the top spot as my personal favourite LMG. One of the advantages the Mark 48 has over this weapon is that it can be used without an unlock token. Even though the Lsat's unlocked pretty early on in the overall prestige at level 13, you're still going to have to spend one of your tokens to get hold of this weapon. So with the light machine guns in general being a fairly underpowered category in the whole spectrum of Black Ops 2, it's a point I'd rather spend on an SMG or an assault rifle. But if you're drawn in by the Lsat's cool blue rounds on its ammo belt and you want to give it a try yourself, let's get started with this guide and take a look at some of the Lsat's general features. The Lsat's damage ratings aren't quite as good as the Mark 48's. The Lsat comes in with a 40-24 damage profile, which equates to a 3 to 5 shot kill. With the Lsat you'll very rarely require those full 5 shots to kill, making the Lsat really more of a 3 to 4 shot kill weapon. The recoil spread for the LMGs across the board is pretty low, and despite a little bit of kick, the Lsat does try and keep itself on target. And just like all the LMGs, the Lsat comes along with some nice iron sights. The only thing you might want to consider is to use a red dot sight or a suppressor to avoid having to fight against that bright muzzle flash. So moving on, let's take a look at some of the Lsat's more detailed stats. Being a belt-fed LMG with that large ammo pouch means it's got a magazine size of 100 rounds, just like that Mark 48, and this can be extended up to 135 rounds with that extended clip attachment. Although, as we've already discussed in previous guides and class setups, the extended magazine in Black Ops 2 only grants you that extra 35 rounds as opposed to an extra 100 rounds as we've seen in previous Call of Duty games. The Lsat does get the upper hand over the Mark 48 in terms of fire rate, with this one clocking in at 750 rounds per minute as opposed to the Mark 48's slow 625 rounds per minute chug. While you do get a nice 100 size mag with those belt-fed weapons, it does equate to a painfully slow reload time, with the Lsat clocking in at almost 7 seconds. Then with these weapons being large and heavy, you get that slow aim-in speed of 0.48 seconds, as well as a 90% movement penalty. So as I've talked about before in previous guides, with the LMGs in Black Ops 2 you either get the choice of a more traditional heavyweight LMG like the Mark 48 or the Lsat, or you get the choice of those more modern assault rifle style LMGs like the QBB, LSW and the Hammer. The main thing I look out for in an LMG though is high damage combined with a large 100 plus round magazine. This allows me to take on that LMG role and set up a little position somewhere and just mow down anyone who comes into view. So this is the main reason I like to go with the Mark 48 for this particular playstyle, with it having much higher damage figures that equate to pretty much a 3-shot kill at almost any range. That's not to disregard the Lsat though, it does have some advantages over the Mark 48. First up is its fire rate, which is much faster at 750 rounds per minute. I do quite like the slow chug of the Mark 48, but it does let you down in some occasions when the enemy can get their 3 to 4 shots to kill out much quicker than you can get your 3 required shots out. The 750 rounds per minute fire rate is going to keep you much safer in close ranges and whenever anyone's sending return fire your way. The Lsat also shaves a second off that reload time, but when you consider that you've got 100 rounds to spare before you have to sit through this reload animation, I don't think reload time is something that's really worth comparing between these two weapons. Otherwise, the Lsat does have a few extra style points. It's got those cool blue rounds as well as that little futuristic ammo counter, which could be handy in hardcore mode. But at the end of the day, I think it all boils down to the damage figures. When I'm using an LMG, I like to be able to punch through cover and kill with as little shots as possible. But between the Mark 48 and the Lsat, if this weapon's your favourite, let's take a look at some of my recommendations of attachments that you might want to consider. When you're sitting back and picking people off through choke points, one of the attachments that's going to make life easy is that target finder. This thing is going to make it easy to spot those little head glitches, so there's no chance anyone's going to be able to slip past. Another attachment that's always a good fit on the LMGs is the FMJ rounds. The Lsat doesn't have quite as high damage figures as the Mark 48, but it's still going to be able to punch through cover pretty easily, which can be enhanced with those FMJ rounds. And because this Lsat's got a much faster fire rate, it's going to keep you much safer using more of a run and gun play style. So the third attachment you might want to consider is the quick draw handle. You might be able to get your 3 required shots out pretty quickly, but the main drawback to the LMGs is their slow movement speed as well as that slow aim-in speed. So with the quick draw handle, as long as you spot your enemy first, you've got a good chance of coming out of that gunfight alive. Unlike with the Mark 48, where even if you open fire first, that slow rate of fire might still mean that you end up dropping down dead. So that's about it for my review of the Lsat in Black Ops 2. Let me know down in the comments if you're a fan of this weapon, if you prefer it over the Mark 48 and you think I'm a complete idiot. Either way, if you enjoyed my guide or learned anything new from my little video, I'd really appreciate a like down below just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. If you missed my full review of the Mark 48, don't forget to check it out by following that link to the full playlist down in the description. And if you're new to my videos, you can always subscribe to stick around for plenty more of these Black Ops 2 weapon guides. All that's left from the LMG category is that QBB LSW, so stick around for that sometime in the future. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.